Hey friends, this is the Dyson Multifloor 2 vacuum, and it's a great little vacuum, but there's a few little maintenance and cleaning things that you need to do on a regular basis to keep the suction working good and everything operating as it's supposed to. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to clean the two filters that are in this system, as well as take off the bottom head here and clean out any hair and those kind of things that may have gotten tangled up in the roller. So the first thing we're going to do is actually remove this cup here that holds all the dirt. You can do that by clicking on this little button here, obviously, and removing it. And then we'll just set that down on the floor. And the first filter we're going to go after is actually located right up here at the top of this cylinder. So as you can see, we've got this little tab thing on the bottom that says filter. Basically, you can just push that up from the bottom. It'll unclip and flip up just like this. And as we can see, we've got our filter down in here. And that is pretty darn dirty. Definitely ready for a rinse. Now, the nice thing about these filters is you actually just rinse them out. They're nice and reusable, so you don't have to replace them. So what we're gonna do is just pull this out, and that comes out pretty easily. Again, you can see all the dust and grime that's down there. And what we're gonna do is just run this underneath the sink until the water runs clear. The other things I like to do is actually come in here and just squeeze this. As water is running underneath it, you can see how much dirt and grime that's pushing out. And again, we'll just let this run and rinse until all that water is nice and clear. Okay, as you can see, the water is running clear. So this should be good to go. Now we need to let this dry out before we use it again, which means we need to let at least 24 hours elapse. And I'm actually gonna put this out in the sun to dry. It needs to be fully dry again before you use the vacuum again. Now, if you like, you can also wipe down kind of these internal parts here. You can see how dusty they get after being used. Also the cylinder up here. Again, feel free to kind of wipe all this down, the internal canister as well, to keep it nice and clean. Okay, the second filter is actually located in this ball. And so in order to get at that, we're actually gonna lay this down on its side. And then what we can do is just grab these two little pinch points, and we're gonna rotate counterclockwise and basically just unscrew this here. Now, when that's fully unscrewed, you can actually just pull up the tab there and the whole thing will just pop off. Again, feel free to kind of wipe this down as needed. And we can see our second filter right here. So this is locked in. Take note that there's two arrows that point at each other. That's how we're gonna push it back in. So to unlock it, I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna rotate it counterclockwise. So the two arrows are apart, and that will just lift right up. And again, what we can do is now just wash this out underneath the sink. Now with this one, I do find it helps to have a little extra water pressure. So if you need to use a hose, don't use anything with super high pressure. You don't want to ruin these fins, but you do want to be able to push dirt kind of through this and get it all nice and cleaned out. All right, water ran clear. We're ready to dry this out. Again, don't use the vacuum for 24 hours until this gets nice and dry. Okay, well, those filters are drying. It's time to tackle our final area that really needs help, and that's our roller. You can see how much hair has been tangled up in here. We really just need to clean that out. So there's a way to actually get to this much easier than trying to do it with it on the vacuum body. So we can actually remove this entire head. So what we can do is come over here, this little clip that's attached to the main ball unit, and we're just gonna pull that off. It clips on either side just like that, and then this can actually slide right off. As you can see, it plugs right down in there through these little nodes, and then obviously that larger circle attaches to the bottom there. So now that we have this off, we can actually get to the clips that are over here. You can see there's a silver one on this side that will undo, as well as another silver tab on this side. We'll flip that up, and then this whole top piece will actually come off. So that slides off and gives us much easier access to our roller here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out some scissors, maybe a box cutter, and just go ahead and, again, you don't wanna dig into the plastic, but we do wanna make a cut all the way across this and pull out the hair. Okay, that took some work, but as you can see, the roller is a lot more clean. So we'll go ahead and reverse the steps and get this back onto the machine here. Should look like this, again, with this tab facing this direction after you put that clip back on. Okay, it's been about 24 hours. The filters have dried out nicely. Time to put everything back together. So let's go ahead and start with this little sleeve filter here that goes in the canister. Basically, again, just make sure that little lid is popped open, and we'll put this back down just like we found it, with that larger opening up top, just like this. And then we'll go ahead and close that down, snap it into place. Next, what we're gonna do is put this filter into place down here. This is easiest if we actually lay this on its side. And we're gonna push this filter back on just like this, with, again, this fin side up. And again, what we're doing is we're looking for this little arrow right here. That is gonna feed down into the slot down here. As you can see, I can kind of rotate it on like that, and then it locks into place. As I just turn it clockwise, those two arrows will line up, and that'll be nice and tight. Now take note that this threaded area is at an angle. That's totally normal. So what we can do now is take our little top cap, and we wanna feed basically those threads into that area up top. So we can kind of move this around, and you'll feel it snap down into place pretty easily. And then we'll go ahead and just rotate this top piece down clockwise until it gets tight. There you go, friends. That's how you clean both of the filters and the roller head down there to keep this Dyson working in its optimal condition. I hope that's made your life just a little bit easier. Stay tuned. We're actually making a ton more of these. Stay tuned. We're actually making a bunch more Dyson videos. Those should be released on our channel soon. So subscribe. I'll see you again on the next one.